What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So, in a follow-up to a video I made the other day about deputy speakers attacking John Bercow, it seems it's not over. The Express are running a story, John Bercow savaged by deputy speaker over Brexit. Keep your mouth shut. Deputy Speaker Eleanor Lang blasted her colleague John Bercow after he was accused on LBC of politicising and posturing, telling him to learn to keep his mouth shut. Which I think we would all agree with. And here we have accompanying it a short video which shows John Bercow. Lang says impartiality has been diminished. So we'll play that and then we'll go over the rest of the article.
I know you're not here to criticise the Speaker, but he has become more high profile, should we say, to put it mildly, than his predecessors.
Well, that is certainly true. He's more high profile. Well, let's just examine it for a moment. He's done some great things. He came in with the intention of being a great reforming speaker, and he's brought about some reforms which have been good for Parliament. He's done a lot to hold the government to account, to create more time for backbenchers, to give the opposition a full say in what's happening. He's allowed a lot more urgent questions and urgent debates, and all that is good for democracy. But there's a bit of an irony, isn't there, that he rightly says that the Speaker's job is to protect minorities. And let's stop and think for a moment, who is the significant minority in the House of Commons at the moment? And the answer is members of Parliament who voted leave. So we're in a funny situation, aren't we, that the minority in the House of Commons is the same as a majority in the rest of the country. And that's why we've got this imbalance right now.
And do you think he has been disproportionately favouring the Remain side, Eleanor? Well,
actually, I've got some sympathy with some of the things that he's done because, like every other role, it's difficult to work out how you would do it until you're actually there. And sometimes I sit in the Speaker's chair, as I do most days. I sit for a couple of hours in the Speaker's chair, and it's like people, doing quizzes on the radio and TV, and they say, "Well, it always looks so easy until you're actually there doing it." So I have a little bit of sympathy for him because it's a difficult job. But you would be right to say that a lot of my colleagues, especially the colleagues on the government benches, but on other benches too, do think that impartiality has been somewhat diminished. And impartiality is really important for the Speaker.
Well, there you can see Dame Eleanor Lang is not having a ball of it, mate. Calls out his bullshit on protecting minorities because, of course, as we all know, in the Commons, Brexiteers are the minority. While outside the Commons, as she said, the people voted in the majority to leave the EU, which has created the imbalance that we currently see. And of course she calls out the fact that many in Parliament think John Bercow has completely diminished the impartiality of the Speaker's role. I personally would say he has destroyed it, which is something a lot of Brexiteers are going to think as well. The article reads, Deputy Speaker of the House of Commons, Dame Eleanor Lang, didn't mince her words when she spoke to LBC's Andrew Pearce. Miss Lang laid out exactly why she would be the best person to replace the outgoing Speaker. Mr Pearce said many people had criticised Mr Bercow for posturing, politicising and acting more as an activist rather than a referee on Brexit, which is an honest and fair representation of what we have seen from Mr Bercow. Let's be honest, he is an activist for Remain. He's not a Speaker of the House, he's not impartial, he's a political activist for the Remain campaign. Dame Eleanor agreed, saying it was certainly true he was high profile. That's one way of putting it, Eleanor. She said he does some great things, he came in with the intention of being a great reforming speaker, as we all heard in there, and he's brought about some reforms which have been good for Parliament. Done a lot to hold the government to account in blah-de-blah-de-blah, we heard that already, but I will read out this next bit. But there's a bit of irony, isn't there? That he rightly says the Speaker's job is to protect minorities, and let's stop and think for a moment. Who is a significant minority in the House of Commons at the moment? And that answer is the MPs who voted to leave. Yeah, I think it's less than 30% of them now, isn't it? Guys, you'd have to let me know down in the chat. I'm sure it's about 30% of them voted to leave. When we have 70% Remainers, and that's obviously, like she said in the video, the reason why we're seeing the imbalance and the bullshit that's occurring. Obviously, alluding to the fact that John Bercow is letting it happen, diminishing the impartiality of the Speaker and the role. Luckily, there are plans afoot for the Tories to change that, should they win a majority at the next general election. And hopefully, if Dame Eleanor Lang gets in, she might change that herself anyway, because she said she doesn't want to be like him. Dame Eleanor continued, "We're in a funny situation, aren't we? That the minority in the House of Commons is the same as the majority in the rest of the country, and that's why we got this imbalance right now." Mr Pearce asked if she thought he had been disproportionately favouring the Remain side. She said, "Actually, I've got some sympathy with some of the things that he's done, because like every other role, it's difficult to work out how you would do it until you were actually there." No, Eleanor, that's just you being very nice and politically correct. You know, he has been disproportionately favouring the Remain side, in the sense that he doesn't favour the Leave side at all, ever. Name me one thing he's done for the Leave side. I'll wait. Sometimes I sit in the Speaker's chair, as I do for most days, and it's like when people say it always looks so easy until you're the one doing it. I don't agree with that. I can't imagine it would be too difficult, to be honest. Dame Eleanor added, "So I have a little bit of sympathy because it's a difficult job. But you would be right to say that a lot of my colleagues, especially my colleagues on the government benches, but on other benches too, do think that impartiality has been somewhat diminished, and impartiality is really important for the Speaker. Yes, Jacob Rees-Mogg has said it many times. He knows how important it is for the Speaker to be impartial. But John Bercow is not impartial. We already know this. He's about as far away from impartial as you can get. It's like saying Joe Swinson supports democracy. Joseph Stalin supported more democracy than Joe Swinson does. Saddam Hussein is more democratic than Joe Swinson is. The same as Bercow is about as impartial as Jeremy Corbyn or Ian Blackford. When asked if that was something she would pledge to her colleagues to get their vote, she agreed, very much so. So once again, Deputy Speakers are calling out John Bercow for destroying impartiality in the Speaker's role, and by the fact that he's supposed to protect minorities in Parliament by his own words, but is allowing the Brexiteers in Parliament to be shit on, which in turn is allowing the Brexiteers outside of Parliament, which is the majority of the public, to also get shit on. So yeah, he has destroyed the Speaker's role. It's no longer impartial. He will always be remembered as the Speaker who thought he had full control of Parliament and took the piss whenever he thought he could. He'll be known as a dickhead. He won't be remembered for anything more. Look guys, I'm going to end the video there anyway. I want to thank the channel's PayPal, Patreon and Subscribe Star members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. They don't like the truth. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats, while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace. But they're too cowardly to give it a go. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.